Hi, I'm Dr. Priscilla Denny. I'm CEO of Prisca LLC, and I want to thank Celine Arctal as well as Sup de Co for having me during their week of corporate social responsibility. Thank you very much for wanting to get a perspective from a U.S. multinational company. I'll begin with the first question. What is social responsibility? Well, the definition of a responsible corporate entity is one that takes the needs of communities, health, and well-being seriously through action and purposeful planning. This is the case in both developed and developing countries. An excellent example of this was in the 2002 New York Times article called Left Behind. As oil riches flow, poor village cries out. Women in the small Niger Delta village staged a revolt against Chevron Texaco, protesting its blatant disregard for the health of their community by constructing their facility in such a way that the runoff flooded the village every morning. I read this article within my first few weeks of working for Dow Chemical, a multinational chemical company with headquarters in the US and plants worldwide, including one in Alsace. I pledged never to forget this as I worked on sustainability issues worldwide for Dow. This caused people to have to defecate in the same waters that they crabbed in. The conditions were deplorable, so the women of the village decided to do something about it. Negotiations started in earnest when Chevron executives realized that 350,000 barrels of oil were in jeopardy of being cut off from their vast supply network. The Chevron executive replied, "The big challenge, it's an enormous challenge, is to ensure that as a human race we provide an environment in which these billions of people achieve the standard of living that the majority in the world have come to expect." Mr. O'Reilly, Chevron's executive, said in an interview at the company's headquarters, "Well, does it have to be the same living?" And his answer was no. But should it have a standard? And his answer was yes. There are tremendous needs, he said. We can't fill them all, there's no question, but we have to play a role. So this is how action should begin. In my opinion, with the acknowledgement that there is a problem, the will to do something about it, and to not letting status quo or maintaining the same thing get in the way. So, did the women's revolt back in 2002 change anything? Well, in response, Chevron Texaco officials now say they will significantly increase the money the company spends to build schools, roads, and hospitals, and to provide electricity, water, and other essentials to their African neighbors. Question number 2. As the CEO of a U.S. multinational company focusing on the environment, could you share with us your experiences on how corporate social responsibility has shaped and guided your business operations? What does it mean to include corporate social responsibility in business operations? Well, my reply to that is that Prisca is a company founded on integrity, respect, and expertise. The name is Greek and means ancient or loyal. Our guiding principles are such that we are part of the new wave of social entrepreneurial ventures that seek to advance the common good while obtaining a profit. We manufacture eco-friendly cleaning products and operate Carolina Solar Training, a solar training center for installation. Our goals are long-term and specifically include working with area nonprofits to employ their disabled workers to bottle our product, EcoDaisy. Most recently, we signed a partnership with the National Council on Aging to train 55-year-old and older people on solar installation. In the U.S., this age group is the most qualified and reliable, but also most likely to be overlooked for a job position. We set them up in business for themselves, if they wish. And as founder and CEO, I have the power to set the agenda and choose such partnerships. Every CEO in the world has the same power to do so, as long as it does not harm the company. The next question is, well, what are the challenges and opportunities that go along with something of that nature? Well, a significant challenge is just to get people such as contractors to look beyond the age of the individuals and to consider their qualifications. They have the same prejudices as everyone else. Why would I hire a 60-year-old person to install a solar system in my home? Won't they fall off the roof? People struggle with this concept, even though they know it makes sense, because this age group has the most skills and will actually show up to work. However, the opportunity is far greater than the challenge. Here in North Carolina, we have the highest concentration of U.S. military presence in the world. They now have a mandate to go green and install numerous energy efficiency and renewable energy measures such as solar. The graduates of this collaboration are excellent candidates to work on these military bases. Fortunately, the Obama administration has been a tremendous help to businesses such as mine with regulations that are favorable to supporting a green business. The administration has enforced Executive Order 13514 that says that the entire government and military must reduce energy and start relying on renewable energy measures. One company has a contract to install 3,000 solar systems on military bases here in North Carolina. Our company is working to become a subcontractor to supply human capital for installation and operation and maintenance services. And for the last question, in your room, I understand that there are students there who aim to become entrepreneurs, team leaders, communication experts, etc. for multinational companies. What would my recommendations be so that you can best position yourself in professional environments where companies are increasingly accountable for their corporate social responsibility and sustainable development practices? Well, what I would say to that is that I would strongly recommend to you to find someone who shares your passion for corporate social responsibility and start your own company. It may be a bit more difficult to do so in France as opposed to perhaps the US, but this is increasingly the way to have innovative ideas transform our world. Fitting into a mold at a company is not for everyone, especially if you have your own ideas. The advantage to having your own company is that you can activate your own network of people instead of being forced to use the company's network. However, if you are looking to work for a multinational, gather as much hands-on and field work as possible. You can intern for companies such as Prisca and market our services internationally, for example. Through marketing, you can learn more about how a multinational company works. You can gain U.S. experience and not even have to travel to the U.S. You should really let the technology work for you. Between Skype, email, iChat, iMovie, YouTube, and Twitter, there's no reason not to be in constant communication with interesting people who are shaking up the world. The best asset to get on board a company is this type of experience. Public and private partnerships, finally, are crucial to the success of what we're doing here in the U.S. with sustainability. Yesterday, I met with the State Director of the United States Department of Agriculture. He spent several hours with me just to help Carolina Solar Training get the connections it needs to get our graduates hired. He called the program directors into a meeting with me to find out who I could contact, what improvements I needed to make on my own marketing, and it was an excellent exchange because the USDA gives grants and loans to businesses such as mine that install solar farms. So the partnership that Carolina Solar Training has with the Council on Aging is an excellent example as a public-private partnership. And I found out actually that one of our graduates has already been solicited for 2 solar installation jobs. He is so excited and couldn't be more pleased about this opportunity through Carolina Solar Training. So sometimes, in conclusion, corporate social responsibility starts with one person deciding to do something that they believe in, even if it means taking money out of your own pocket to start a partnership like I did. But it is starting to pay off. We received a phone call last week from one of our congressional representatives in Washington, D.C., who selected our organization out of 400 to visit because of the groundbreaking work that we're doing with such a partnership. The main thing is that innovation is part of the puzzle, as well as risk-taking, and most importantly, never, ever quitting. Thank you, and good luck.